Days away from the start of round one of the NCAA tournament with UCLA women's basketball, and we are with their head coach, Cori Close, on the Bruin Insider Show. For Nick Cope, I'm Brian Fenley. Coach Close, thanks so much. I know you're getting ready for game planning for Saturday against Cal Baptist. Appreciate your time.
You bet. Let's go. Let's get this thing done.
And let's get this party started as far as this conversation is concerned. You said in the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament after that when it comes to using motivation from pain, that if the pain hurts more than the pain it takes to change, then you're in a good spot. How has pain been used as a motivator, especially in the lead up to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I just always say you got to choose the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. And, I think that we were hurting. We felt like we let that one get away, and we had some regret after that semifinal loss. And so this week has been very focused. And I really give a lot of credit to our players because in addition to having really intense, focused short practices, they're in the middle of final exams. And so they're balancing, being excellent students at the number one public institution in the country and getting ready for, hopefully a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And so that's, but it's been really good. I think it's not been easy, but, few things are, and, we have to embrace that and move on to the next.
Yeah, you bring up the timing of finals and also the biggest games of the season coming up. And then I wonder if you, or maybe this is something within the team, but to find maybe just little moments of levity to help counter all of that, where do you maybe fit into that?
I think every team's a little bit different, right? You have to know your team, and this is a very driven team. And so I actually have to work harder to get them to laugh more and to play free. I think we played really tight on the offensive end against USC in the semifinals. And so I think it really is important that we find levity, that we, dance and have fun and smile and enjoy things to serve other people. We had a Champion of Westwood event, surrounding our selection show, and there were 40 kids from the YMCA, and I actually think that helps us compete harder because it's like, this isn't a get-to moment. This is not a have-to moment. This is like, and you're going to play in a flow state better when you're really playing in freedom and in joy, as long as you've done the disciplined work in advance. And I always say discipline precedes freedom. But I do think this has been a pretty disciplined group, so I think it's been important to find those moments where we can laugh and enjoy, and I actually think that helps our performance.
There's the levity that has its perks, but also the humbling nature. Obviously, with everything surrounding this team, for the first time ever, you're a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's never happened in program history. All these wonderful things are happening. But for you as a coach, not to say your players would ever be complacent or stagnant, but to humble them during a time like that, how can that be an advantage as well?
Well, I think, there are a lot of firsts. And, I'm always like, earn what you want. They earned those. And so you want something different, earn it. You want to have, we would have been a 1 seed if we won that game. We didn't earn that. Okay. So now what do you want? What are you willing to earn? And so, I just think it's pretty simple. Like, I don't want to make it bigger than it is. We're definitely not looking past anybody. I watched 6 Cal Baptist films yesterday, and, they're really well coached. They average 32 3-point attempts per game. I mean, they're really well coached. They're a really good team. But my whole thing is, you want to keep playing? Earn what you want. Earn another opportunity to compete together, and we got to get better. We've been really focused on special situations, getting Lauren quality touches. It doesn't have to be always scores. We've been really focused on getting Kiki and Charisma downhill drives. We've been trying to get really focused, like what are the few things that we're going to make huge progress on in this 10-day period in between the Pac-12 tournament and the NCAAs, and I think our players have earned some more confidence because we've done a good job.
Well, Brian brings up first, it's not going to be the first time in the tournament for a lot of players now. You got a number of sophomores. It was their first time getting their feet wet last year. How do you think that experience is going to aid them now going into their second time in the big dance? Yeah,
I think it remains to be seen some, but I do think there's a different level of, okay, we know how this goes. There's a routine to it. And even talking about how the week goes, as soon as we found out we were going to be a Saturday game instead of a Friday game, so that you reverse engineer it and plan accordingly. And you could just tell they're like, okay, we got this. It wasn't like this wide-eyed, how's this go. What happens now? I think they know. And so I think it's going to be, really quality, just opportunities. And they're really, practices are short right now, and we're fine tuning some things and, going from there. But I do think there is an experience. I went back and watched our Sweet 16 game last year, and, I did see a tightness in those freshmen, and like, whoa, this is a big stage. This is a lot of pressure. You really feel the urgency of every single possession. And what I've been trying to do this week is bring that level of urgency and to every possession in practice. And, it's different, but they need to feel that from me. This is not a time for me to be lackadaisical in any way, shape, or form. So I'm trying to help them feel the heat a little bit.
Yeah, you normalize it now, so it's not a new thing in a few days. Yeah.
We always talk about in the mind gym that you're going to have a state change. Those feelings are natural. That's okay. But how you channel those, how you use those, pressure is a privilege. How do you use that state change and channel it into energy for the next play? And so, I think that's sort of, if you're preparing mentally like a champion all the time, now is the time. We always say, and obviously I've got my little shovel over there, to focus on the root, not on the fruit. And we've been just planting the right seeds, toiling the soil, and now it's time for harvest. And I'm looking forward to watching them.
Likewise, and our guest right now, Cori Close, UCLA women's head basketball coach on the Bruin Insider Show. That matchup is on Saturday, 6:30 against a Cal Baptist team, as you said, likes to shoot the rock, and especially from three-point range. And we're still trying to get as many people to that game as possible.
I mean, you think about it. This is a moment in women's basketball. This is a moment in Southern California women's basketball. Having USC hosting, having us hosting. It's never happened that we were both seeds like this, and so I really hope that all of our fans just be like, I don't want to miss this. This is going to be awesome. I want to be a part of this run, and we want to share it with our Bruin faithful. And so, I hope that Pauley is packed, and there are tickets still available. Go to UCLABruins.com and you can get your tickets. But these women really deserve this, and I don't think we've ever hosted in the past where our men weren't playing at the same time. So if you're a fan of the blue and gold, if you're a fan of basketball in general, come out to Pauley on Saturday and Monday and really spur these women on.
Charisma Osborne, someone you've been with for a long time, and when I look at this team, just because she's been here for so long, she comes front of mind to me. And
she's the rock.
And her coming back and knowing what's in front to have this moment. What are you expecting to see out of her here as she goes in to make one last run here?
Well, just right before I came up here to the office to meet you guys, she said, hey, Coach, can we stay after and get some extra shots up? What I love about her is her relentless work ethic, her desire to just continue to improve and get better and to put herself in a position to help our team win. But she's never lost that. And, I'm so proud of her. She's an elite defender. She can guard anybody 1 through 5. She's shooting the ball really well. She's efficient in her mid-range game. Our real challenge to her is to get to the cup a little bit more to the free throw line. But she really is our anchor right now, and really excited for what this could bring. I mean, she came back for this, right? This opportunity, and so really hoping that this is going to be a special remember win for her.
She is an anchor, but you also have other scoring supernovas on your roster.
We do.
One being Kiki Rice, and there's some really great news out there about the Omaha production, ESPN Plus, that they're going to go behind the scenes and have all season long. Just this limitless coverage of her, just not as a basketball player, but to be able to showcase a player of your own in so many other facets than just what's going on in the hardwood. How does that grow your program? How does that grow women's basketball and what you're doing as a program?
Well, we've really tried to lead in the branding space and the NIL space, and this is not about pay for play for us. This is about teach, mentor, and equip. This is about, okay, you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to build your brand? But it's also our program's brand. This is a huge blessing, not only for Kiki, but for our entire program. And to be in the year that it's associated with Cardozo from South Carolina and Caitlin Clark from Iowa, it's a huge advantage for us to have that many interested people tuned in. And they're going to see great things from, Cardozo and Clark, but they're going to see amazing things from Kiki Rice as well.
Yeah, and that comes out. Yeah, that comes out in May, I believe. I think May 11th and May 12th. You'll be able to see those episodes. So what I really liked that you talked about the other day after the selection show, you're going to play a bunch of different teams and different styles, but that doesn't change who you guys are and how you play. What is talking about how, we got to realize who we are, what our identity is. What is that?
Well, it starts on the defensive end. It starts on defense and rebounding. We were the number one defensive team in the conference, in the number one conference in the country this year for women's basketball, and we were the number one rebounding team. We're the number one offensive rebounding team in the entire country. And so, just really starting with that fuels the way we want to play in transition, how we want to go about doing that. But I also think that the way we need to grow is that we really have to have an awareness of where Lauren is on the floor, what her usage rate is. She actually has almost an identical usage rate as Cardoza from South Carolina. We just looked that up today, actually. But it's not about her shooting every time. It's about forcing the double teams and rotations and helping us getting easier shots out of that. And I think, we lost her a little bit in the second half of our semifinal game. So that's been a huge focus for us. But it's really defense, rebounding, and attack the paint. And that can look a lot of different ways.
Look forward to seeing all that play itself out. Cori Close here on the Bruin Insider Show for Nick Cope. I'm Brian Fenley. Tickets are available. Go to UCLABruins.com and you can figure out how to get them. Get out there to Pauley Pavilion. Make it as partial of a Bruin fandom as you're able to do, with all the UCLA fans coming out and supporting. Saturday, 6:30 at night. The Bruins open up first round play against Cal Baptist. Coach, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.